Hi all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things, and our monthly hooks and needles project review video. We are reviewing my January box, or box 6. So I'm going to do this video in 4 parts. Part 1 is going to be talking about who hooks and needles are and what came in the box. Part 2 is going to be looking at the projects that I made. Part 3 is going to be pros, cons, and user error. And then part 4 is going to be final thoughts and sign off. Timestamps are on the screen for you in the description box and as chapters in the video. So if there's something that you're not interested in watching, do feel free to click over to what you do care about watching. Yeah. So quickly before we get started, hello all, welcome. Hello to the new subscribers, the OGs, anyone in between. Hello to people who are clicking on this box for the first time out of curiosity, and people who've been watching for a long time, and again, anyone in between. You're all welcome. You are all appreciated. And let me know what you think about this box and these projects as you see them down in the comments section. I'm a very small channel, and I do respond to every comment that I see. Because it's nice to interact with the people who are taking the time to watch my videos, especially some of the longer ones that like this one is probably going to be. So also quickly, I do want to say I am still a bit under the weather, feeling a lot better than I did last week. Still just tired and still a little congested. So if I do sound a little nasally or a little different than my normal self, that is why. But the fog of flu has lifted, and I'm feeling a lot better in that regard. So yeah, with all that said, let's get into part 1. Who is Hooks and Needles and what came inside the box? So Hooks and Needles is a subscription box company that sends you crochet and or knitting projects. You get some yarn, you get some accessories to use that yarn, you get a little booklet that gives you some patterns and some articles and stuff like that, talking about either crochet or knitting, whichever one you choose. Pricing is on the screen for you. The box is $33.97. They say, oh, like, act now, you can save this much money. Act now, you get a free gift, so on and so on. But every time I've ever clicked onto this website, it's $33.97. I will say the free gifts do change, but yeah, that offer is always there. But if you're uncertain, then there's also some monthly like prepaid plans that you can choose as well. The knitting box is the same price, I believe, but I don't know what the two combined are. I do imagine you save yourself some money when you get both of them. Yeah, the other thing I do want to say is that these are not a monthly, okay, they are a monthly subscription box, but it does not depend, it does not matter when you start these boxes. Everybody starts with box 1, then the following month they get box 2, and then the month after that they get box 3 in a preset consecutive order. So if you see me talking about something that you really like and you're worried that you've missed out on it, don't be. 6 months into your subscription box journey, adventure with Hooks and Needles, you will get this exact same box. Maybe not the exact same yarn colors, but you'll get this exact same box. That is how Hooks and Needles operates. So yeah, box 6 is the same for everyone who gets box 6. So let's talk what came inside this box. I keep everything inside the original box so that I can come back and talk to you all about it in the process of working with everything. If you want to see my initial thoughts on the unboxing of this without getting into any of the projects or anything, here's a link to that video. It's like from 10 days or so ago. That's when I opened this up and looked at it and was like all chatty and excited and stuff. So as a refresher, this is our box. So we have this crocheting magazine. You get one in every box. It was pointed out to me, doesn't seem like this lovely lady is wearing pants or that she really knows how to crochet, but it's a nice aesthetic photo. So you get a box, you get like a greeting and stuff like that, and then you get your projects, right? You get a beginner project, you get a intermediate project, and then you get a more advanced project. Sometimes you get other things as well in here, like this month they gave us a recipe. I have all the ingredients for the recipe, but I have not made it because of the flu. And then you can see, right, we're in 2025, but this booklet was printed for 2024. So yeah, and this one's really cool. It has a glossary in the back. So that's here. We'll talk more about the projects in the next section. In this month's box, we got this beautiful blue yarn. It's cotton reef. It's 100% cotton. It's made in Portugal. It's a number 3 kind of light. They use a 4 to 6 knitting needle on it. It's called Color 13 in Cotton Reef. But like, it is such a stunning blue. Like, I didn't really pay too close attention to it the first time around. But the second time, or as I was working with it and looking at it, I was like, wow, that is a beautiful, beautiful blue. So we have 3 skeins of it. I only used a little bit. I used a lot of my own yarn for this month's projects because I think that a yarn this beautiful and this soft deserves something special made with it, not the projects that were included in this month's box. And then our free gift this time around were these like little sewing and craft themed, crochet themed charms that you could play around with and attach to different projects and things like that. They're metal. They're a little on the heavy side, so they feel like they're a pretty good quality. I mean, if they look familiar, it's because when I got this box 6 months ago, a lot of these were turned into stitch markers that I could use. So when I first opened this box, I was like, oh, they're stitch markers. And it's like, oh, wait, no, they're charms. So kind of nice. They feel really nice. No idea what I'm going to use them for or use them on, but it's always nice to have like little bits and bobs like this. So that's what came in the box. Pretty straightforward this time. So let's get into part 2, the projects. So, oh, that pink's pretty too. I started with the beginner project, which is this cozy coaster, right? And this yarn is green and absolutely gorgeous too. I was pretty jealous of it. The coaster starts off with a magic ring. I kind of understand the instructions on how to do it. I followed along. They made sense, but years ago, when I was first learning how to crochet, I was doing a Dollar Tree crochet kit, and I had to look online for a tutorial on how to make a magic ring, and I found a really good one. So they show you to do a crossover like this right on here, but then you work with the back of it. But I was taught you work from the front here, right? You slide your crochet hook under I need a larger tail. Right, so you hold your tail, you wrap it up, you wrap it over, and then you have it like this. Then you take your crochet hook, flat, grab your first one, spin it around, come around to your pinky, grab it, twist it inside, and pull, and there's your magic ring. And then you start working your magic ring right like this. So chain, chain, chain. This is the starting of our third project, but I'd be making a lot of these, and I'm making a mess of this. But anyway, right, you get kind of the point that I'm making. All right, so you make your magic ring, you do all of your things, and you work with it that way. So I tried making it this way that they showed you, but I'm much more comfortable making the magic ring the way that I like learned on a YouTube tutorial, that I just make them like this. Yeah, anyway. And then you pull it tight, right, when you're done making the thing that you're making. So pretty straightforward. This magic ring works too. It walks you through the steps all right to get you to where you need to be. I just did it a different way. This coaster was really easy. It's only 4 rounds, 5 rounds. 4 rounds doing the same stitch with increases. 4 rounds doing what? A double crochet. And then your 5th round, you do like a scalloped border to make flowers. And I've made 3 of them. So I made the pink one first because I wanted to practice with the yarn that I liked, but that if I was finding it frustrating, I wouldn't be too upset about it. And I also wanted to I just wanted to make it with this because I'd been experimenting with some other coaster patterns and the sizing was coming out all wonky, so I wanted to see about it with this one. And then I made a blue one to compare sizing to it to see that like I'm making the coaster the right size, and these came out to be exactly the same size. So the cotton yarn I was working with was the same gauge and everything as the cotton yarn that they sent in. And then for project 2, again, I didn't want to use this blue for it, so I practiced with this green yarn that I have sitting around, right, that I frogged from a bucket hat that I made that I hated. So I had this one, and then I wanted to compare it, right, making it, instead of just doing swatches, compare it to this to see if I could get away with making them the same size, right, making them similar. And they're a little bit, like the green is a little bit bigger, but not enough for me to worry about with sizing. So I thought it would be fine to make the next project. So that's how the flowers have turned out. I need to weave in my ends, but I thought it turned out really cool. I thought they turned out really cool. And I really liked making them. I like making them so much that it's like, I mean, thinking of just sitting down like and mindlessly making them while watching TV. So the next project they call the intermediate project is this handy hook case. Again, they use this beautiful green fabric or green yarn that they didn't include, right? We got the blue, which is still quite beautiful. And this one was quite a few more steps, was quite a bit more work. Like these coasters came together in like half an hour. So with this one here, you had, I think, 7 different parts. A little pocket. Yeah, 7 parts and then assembly. So they had you make like one big rectangle. and then folded over to make like an interior pocket. And then they had you do like a second larger rectangle to make your hook pockets. Then they had you make like a strip for stitch markers, measuring tape holder, a needle holder, and then like a little pocket to hold random things. And then they had you assemble it all together and do like a really long string to wrap around the whole case. So it took me, I don't know, quite a few days to make this. Again, right, had the flu, so that didn't help much, but this is what it came out to look like. So here's our main big rectangle. So it's 15.5 inches. So it comes from here all the way over, and then it wraps to this pocket here. This is all one large rectangle. And then on the inside, we have one other rectangle here for our hook holder. All right, and then we have like this rectangle here. They show you could put scissors or something in there. You've got like a measuring tape holder. You have like this thing to hold your stitch markers. This, if you want to run your like needle, like your tapestry needle into it. All right, you can stay there, and then like odds and ends can go into your pocket, and then you can fold it up and have it on the go, right? Wrap it around and right, tie it off, and there you go. You have like a lovely little holder. It's big enough to hold, I made it so that it could hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hooks. I have 2 hooks in here right now. All right, but I've got a pen. I've got a pencil. I need 6 items to shove in here. A broken paintbrush. Ooh, tweezers. Tweezers will work. Tweezers. All right, in here, if you have like little snips, you can slide them in. I would be careful because these could poke out quite a bit. The problem is if you use scissors or something in here, then this thing, which is supposed to be your measuring tape holder, doesn't really hold a measuring tape anymore, right? But you could have a measuring tape shoved into here. Where's my, I have like a pink, it's probably in the other room, but I have like a rose gold square measuring tape that would fit in here better than this one does. Right, or you could just shove it into here. For argument's sake, we'll stick that in there. We'll stick this in here. All right, and then pretend you've got stitch holders here. So you can still close it up quite nicely. All right, it holds everything quite well, and then right, you have this to tie it off. All right, so I can imagine using it for other things other than just crochet stuff too. Like, it's pretty handy, and I'm sure there's plenty of uses for it, especially if you don't like shove a whole lot of stuff into this like little flat pocket. But yeah, it's a pretty handy little thing to have, and it worked really, really well with this yarn. You could even like be careful too and like hide all of your like stitching and stuff. Like for me, I only ran the pockets, like the little individual separators, down to about here. in here so you had something nice and tight on the top, but I didn't really see the point in running it all the way down to the bottom. You can also play with your placement on all of these. So yeah, I think it could be a pretty versatile thing. And now for part 3, the elegant table runner. I started making this here. So it's pretty straightforward. There's new stitches. There's a treble 2 cluster, triple, what does it call it? I don't know, but there's there's a 2 cluster and a 3 cluster with treble crochets that you work on. Again, they walk you through the magic ring, all of your rounds. There's only 3 rounds in here, so they go fairly quickly. And then the clever part, I think, and why it's considered like advanced, is how you attach all of your pieces together. So again, I didn't want to use the blue because I like the blue a lot and I didn't know if I was going to like this. But I did have some color, like some mini color clusters that I picked up right when I was picking up cotton yarn in France. And so I decided to play with those instead. And this is where we have it. So it goes 5 by 6 by 5. I started with 4 colors, realized I was gonna not have enough yarn for 4 colors. Added the pink, added this taupe because I was having issues, and got this far. So I'm a little annoyed with the cotton yarn that I was working with because I've run out of the brown, not even enough to make 3 stars. But it kind of helps to show how these are made too. So you have your magic ring, your inner circle of 6 triple clusters. Like one is a double cluster and a chain, then everything else is a triple cluster, and then your second round are triple clusters as well, 2 per section. Right, so you have this round, and then this third round is an increase and decrease thing to make a point. Increase, so it's half double crochet, treble crochet, a picot, which I just learned about, and then decreasing it, single crochet, slip stitch, and then single crochet, and then same thing, next point, and the next point, and the next point. So you start off that way, that you make your first one like that, and then when you reach, you make 4 points, and then when you reach your 5th point, no, sorry, you make your first one exactly the way that you're supposed to. Then when you make your next one, you do your first 4 points together, and then they have you attach point 5 and point 6 together as you're working it, and then you do that all for your first round, attaching 5 and 6, and then when you start in your second round, then your first one attaches at 2 points as well, and then your next one in that second round attaches at 4 points. That's why they have you do the picot stitch, so you have like a little loop to attach into, and then you work that way. And then this one here would be the same way of joining everything, and if I had enough yarn, I would have been able to make another brown one, and then a pink one, and then I was going to do a taupe one, and then I was going to do another pink one. So I had these stripes going on, but now I don't know what to do because that brown one isn't finished, and I'm a little annoyed by that. So that's not on the pattern, that's on me. But it looks kind of cool. It was commented in my unboxing that it looks like it needs to be blocked, and definitely I agree, blocking would help quite a bit. But the way that you're attaching them, you'd end up having to block the whole thing at once. So I'm not sure how well that would work out, how feasible that would be, but I think it's coming together pretty well. And once I problem solve on how to finish off this brown one, I can finish it and make it look really cool. I could just do like some random color like white or something and then just have it be an anomaly, but I don't know. And then because of the way that you're making them and attaching them together, you can't really go back and change things, because if I would, right, I would switch out this taupe for down here, move these two up here so that my lines match up. But it's my first time. I didn't know I didn't have enough yarn, and also I was sick when I was making these, so there's always that with it. So those are the 3 projects. Mostly finished table runner, a little crochet tools organizer, and coasters. So let's get into part 3, pros, cons, and user error. Pro, I actually like all 3 of these projects. Like, I don't know if I'm going to make this again, but I do like these projects. I kind of like how they've come together. I really like these coasters. I really like how they look, how they feel, how they came together. They worked really, really well. They did say use a 4 hook, which they included, I think, in our first box. So everything was there for us to make it. I love this color. I loved making this one coaster with this the yarn that was included. It worked up really, really well. It was really, really soft. It was really easy to use, to work with. It was like really nice and really enjoyable. Some of the nicest yarn I have felt from them. I've liked all the yarn in general, but this, I don't know, this just felt really nice, and this blue is just so pretty that it just kind of speaks to me. Yeah, I like how this is coming together. I like this. I liked the instructions on all of them for the most part. I like how quickly this came together. Like, I like these projects. Cons. There's no cons with these coasters. They wrote together really well. Everything about them made sense with this. I think, though, that if you used this kind of soft, pliable cotton with this pattern, you're going to have issue. So this green that I have, it's a Lucky Brand something or other. Here's a picture of the other skein that I have. I had to use some of that skein too, so it wasn't just one skein, it was 2, but or one and like a couple of feet from the other one. But it's a stiff yarn, so I think that it gives this a lot of body, or a lot of structure and a lot of stability. I say that because when you look at the sample photos on here, it doesn't look that nice. Like, it doesn't look like it's a good construction at all. You can kind of see that the crochet itself looks like it's splitting, like it's not holding itself together very well. Like there's issues with it, right? Like when you look at their photo of this here, I don't know if it's the person making it or if it's the fact that it's such a super soft cotton that it's not holding together very well. Like all through this, you can see, like in their sample photos, right? And they made it twice, that there's just kind of issue with it. All right, so I can imagine like working this up with this specific yarn might have been a nightmare. And I'm really glad that I switched it out to this. Yeah. This I would call maybe a more intermediate project with how much you have to put things together for it too. But for this advanced project, I don't think so. I think this maybe is, it's not a beginner one because you do have to attach your pieces together and you need to keep your tension fairly the same for everything to like look nice together. you can tell mine's probably not as nice as it could be. Like, you do have to have some understanding of how construction comes together, but I would say it's more intermediate than advanced. I haven't found any of the advanced projects to be like so far afield from what I can do, so I think calling it advanced is a bit of a inaccurate description, we'll say. And then user error. Well, one, I didn't have enough yarn to finish this up the way that I wanted to. And then on this one here, like this rectangle is perfect. It started the right size, it ended the right size. All of I think my edges look really quite nice, quite straight. Like, this is a really good yarn to use for something this structural. But like my little interior pieces aren't as nice. This somehow got wonky and started to angle out funny. I don't like how you can kind of see the sewing on here or on this side. I don't know if that's a pattern thing or a me thing. Everything just looks a little wonky and a little like first time maker, which I am, right? I'm a first time creator for all of this. So yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention about this, right, as I'm thinking about it, is that when they're walking you through this, they say, right after your 6 here, your 6 interior, they want you to start to work into your chain 2, or your chain 2 space, right? Like, this is a chain 2 space, but they don't tell you to turn your work. So like, I did it facing this way first, right? It goes in this direction, but then in order to work in my chain 2 space that was most accessible to me right after I chained, I had to turn my work to then work around here. Like, I couldn't do it this way and then work into my chain 2 space. I had to turn my work to make it make sense, right? Because your last chain 2 space is behind you in the direction that you're working around, that you're rotating through. I know I'm left-handed, so the way I'm describing is probably the opposite direction for you, but you still had to turn your work in. It doesn't say that in the instructions. And so I don't know if it was me doing something wrong or if it was the pattern not telling you to turn your work. I can't tell. You can't really tell when you're looking at in which direction it is either way. Like, you can't really see what's the right side and what's the wrong side. So I think in general it's probably fine, but I don't like when the instructions aren't clear like that. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say about this month's projects. We managed to get most of the way through the intermediate, or through the advanced project. We finished the intermediate project and we made 3 of the beginner project in what, 10 days or so, and that is with having the flu. The nice thing about having the flu is you tend to not want to do anything, so I sat on the couch a lot and worked on things like this. Not enough time to get it all done, but enough time to get enough to talk to you all about it. And then if you were anticipating me talking about the scone recipe, like I said, I don't know if I said it or not, but did not have time to make it. Will try to update in my next hooks and needles video. So yeah, let's get into part 4, final thoughts and sign off. Some of these boxes have been disappointing. This one here is on the cusp. I do like the projects. I love the yarn. Not a fan of the free gift, those charms. Like, I like having them, but they don't add any value to the box for me in general. Like, they say, oh, bonus free gift, so I shouldn't be considering it as part of the $33.97 anyway. But yeah, like, there is definitely things in here that I enjoyed doing. I learned a new stitch with these treble clusters. This one was pretty straightforward. This is all just double crochet. This was all half double crochet. I think, something like that. And then these had some like a new stitch for me, so that's kind of neat. That's kind of fun to work with, but I don't know. But what do you think? Do you like them? Do you not? Do you see the point I'm making with like the structure of this guy? Do you think that I should have tried it with the yarn that they included? With my sewing boxes and stuff, I use the materials that they send me, but for some reason with yarn and crochet, I'm not, and I'm not quite sure why that is. Let me know everything you think down in the comment section. I've been playing with the idea of pausing hooks and needles because, right, we're 6 months in, and usually at the 6-month mark I make an assessment and decide if I want to continue or not. I'm not sure if I want to continue or not, but I am going to get a 7th box because my curiosity is like pretty high up there. So in February of this month, there will be an unboxing video and a project video for box 7, or February, or however you want to think about it. And there is also going to be a crochet update video at some point because I've been working on things outside of this. Not since getting sick or getting this box really, but before that I was working on some things. So I'll share that with you. I'm not sure when. And then our 4th crochet video this month is going to be my hooks and needles 6-month review. Is it worth it? Should you spend your money on these boxes? And I'll give a breakdown of my thoughts on it as a beginner crocheter. So stay tuned for all of that. Other things coming this month are, of course, our Sewers Club content, our unboxings and reviews, our quilt updates, our other sewing content, and other things that I can't think about just yet. Can't remember anyway. So if any of that interests you, do think about subscribing. No idea what Wednesday's video is going to look like. I'm filming this on Saturday and I have no sewing project lined up for Wednesday, so we'll see what I end up coming up with for that. Friday is a couple of choices. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, so yeah, kind of everything is kind of up in the air. So yeah, do think about subscribing if you want to see what I come up with. Like the video if you've made it here to the end. I know it's on the longer side, not as long as last Wednesday's video, but still long. And I'm going to go. So with all of that being said, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk with you again soon.